Yep. All right. I'm back again. This time it's going to be, I think it's going to be really interesting today. The thing I want to talk about today might be a little one of those touchy kind of subjects people don't really want to talk about. It's not like a lot of people are thinking about it, but it's not something that people want to hear, period. A lot of people look at me like, what the hell is he talking about? But anyway, it's my thoughts and I'm here to share it with y'all. You know what I mean? Entertain it, think about it, you think about it. You come out, it's okay, this is just, it's hypothetical, it's not proven. It's a theory that I have right now. And probably me talking to more people, it might change. I might stick with it. But right now, this is what I'm thinking. Ever since, well, the Olympics has taught me now, all right? This is nothing factual, all right? Let me make this very clear. It's not factual. But what the Olympics showed me, after thinking about it for a while, first I came on, we were talking about Steph, how he went crazy and all that, bombing those threes left and right, just incredible, just incredible. I mean, the Olympics are great basketball wise. And then, I came back, spoke about how will what we saw in the Olympics translate when these guys go back home, not home, to their respective leagues and all that, their respective teams. Will they play the same way? Because we saw a lot of players play actually pretty good, and then we saw some players not so good, like Jamal Murray. But I don't want to single anybody out right now because we're not talking about that right now. Anyway, the Nuggets, it's going to be pretty interesting this season, with Russell Westbrook. And, speaking of Jamal Murray, he has a tendency to start off slow and then, gradually everything goes up the first month and all that. Some people are talking about he comes into every season out of shape and he plays himself into shape. We're not talking about that. Let's get back to what we're talking about. Okay, so the thing that I wanted to talk about was watching the Olympics. I realized one thing. Like, you get players kind of like Patty Mills that go crazy when you play international games. It's one thing that I talk about a lot, and people just don't pay much attention to it. I mean, they pay attention to it, but they just don't factor it into how good players are because of it. Confidence. Yes, I said it. Confidence. Now, when you go play for your country, you're representing a country, and they believe in you, they're like, all right, you're our guy. You're the guy. Go out there and rep us hard. Go out there and represent us, right? These guys go out there with the belief that the country is behind them. And they get this confidence that's just ridiculous. Now, on the flip side, let's go back to the NBA. All right. You have your star players that get the ultimate green light, and they have that kind of confidence. The city's behind them, the management is behind them. And even the players think that they're big time. There's this aura around them, and they play incredibly well, majority of the time. Like, I mean, how can you play that well for a long period of time? You got to be crazy up in the head. Like, your ego has to be ridiculous, or people are just really gassing you up, and you're doing what you're doing. You living up to the hype, to that rep. And I've seen that before. I've seen some guys do some crazy stuff just because people see him a certain way. So they do whatever people see him. You understand what I'm trying to say, right? So my thoughts are, the guys in the league have that confidence. They're given that confidence. Well, they took it. And once they took it, because you got to prove it first. And once you prove it, once you prove you're that dude, they just feed you that confidence. You can't do wrong. Majority of the time, you can't do wrong. Majority of the time. Not to say that, like, for instance, Russ was an incredible player. It wasn't like Russ wasn't making the kind of decisions that Russ is making today. But he had that confidence. The city was behind him. Everybody was behind him. Well, KD was not, and some of the other. But you understand what I'm saying. In general, he had that confidence. He had people behind him in general. Like, the majority of the people were behind him. And they loved what Russ was doing. Russ, the MVP, going back. You know what I mean? I know that's why KD left, because at that time, KD thought, it's me or Russ or me, even though I might be a better player, but it's really Russ's team. But I mean, you understand what I'm saying? That was that. But does anybody speak of that right now? Can you compare KD to Russ right now? No, we just don't. They're not in the same. I mean, all right. Let's leave that. All right. What I'm trying to say is, at that time, Russ had that confidence. Every time he played, he was playing with a lot of people behind him, backing him up. He had that confidence. Let's go to what Shea, right? Shea was okay. You could say, okay, he was still a rookie, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. He went to OKC and he was given that confidence. Look at the way he's playing right now. Look at the way he's playing right now, right? Just incredible. Imagine if you try to put Luka, if you rein him in, he might be that dude, but not like the way he's playing right now, because he takes ridiculous shots. He does ridiculous stuff all the time because he has that confidence and he has that freedom to do a whole lot. So where am I going with all this? It just seems like I'm talking in circles and everything. What I'm trying to say is this. I actually believe right now there are a lot of great players outside of the United States. Like a lot of great players, not just good players, great players. That is why the games were very competitive. Now, if they had the same confidence in the NBA, if the reins were off a little bit and some of these players were given the keys, right, to drive that bus, there will be incredible players. They just don't get that chance. You got to take it. Once you take it, then you become that guy. But they're already that good. It's just we haven't seen them until they go back home and then they give them the key. And then all of a sudden we're like, whoa, these players just, blah, 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 yada, 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 yada. They get so blah, blah. No, they are that good to begin with. It's just that they don't have the keys to the bus. And once they're given the keys to the bus, they just go crazy. All right. The French Ben Wallace is going to play for the Sixers. I bet you this season he's not going to be the same like the way he played with the French team. I will put my money on it. He will not be that dude, but he is that dude. With the right setting and you give him the keys, he is that dude. So we're going to see him. We're going to see him play with the Sixers. I bet you, at the end of this coming season, come visit this video and you tell me, all right? This is not a hot take. It's just the way things are.